What's good, everybody? It's your boy SBX. I know I talked about this topic a while back, but due to copyright bullshit, I have to remake this video one more time, talk about my perspectives one more time, and get into the bottom of this one last time. But I'm gonna talk about, marriage. The good and the bad of it. The pros and the cons. Like always, I always gotta separate the difference between the good and the bad. That's how I roll, folks. But anyhow, I want to talk about marriage. How two genders, with a man or a woman, deal with marriage, how they handle it, the idealistic values of marriage or being married. Now, anywho, folks, I feel like, in my opinion, marriage is a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna sweat it. I mean, I feel like when you're married, you feel like you found the right woman or the right man. Now, for me, as a man's perspective, it's like you feel like you're in love because you want to marry this person, because this person, in your mind and on your heart and in your spirit, that you connect in a spiritual way. It's all about having a connection with someone that you feel for. You know what I'm saying? Your soulmate. That's how it is. And I feel like in order for it to happen, you got to make sure that you guys are attracted to each other both ways, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So I think, and that's said and done, when it comes to marriage, it's not a one-way street. It's both parts, between husband and wife, bride and the groom. So the good thing about marriage is you get to be with somebody you love. You get to plan a future. You pretty much have somebody who cares and loves you unconditionally. And also on that fact that when you're in love, the love is always there. Now, of course, any other marriage, you got to deal with a lot of bullshit when it comes to arguments, drama, and, have to confront with misbehaved kids if y'all want to have children or whatnot. I mean, some may look at it as a no-brainer, and some may look at it as something that they can't tolerate. But it all depends on the methods and the theories that the husband and the wife do. Like, for example, maybe you have a wife who think it's best to discipline their kids by giving them a timeout, or the husband give them punishment, or one say whoop their children's ass, and another one say no. So idealistically, it really all depends, because some people's methods is different, and not everybody's method will be, will be equal. Now, I feel like a marriage is something that you have to work on. And, some people try their best to hold on to somebody who they love, and I think that it will last forever. Some will take that risk because they feel like they like to be committed. They love the idea of being committed. They love the monogamy of the relationship. I mean, it really all depends on the whole purpose of marriage. A woman's marriage is like they have this idealistical type of, oh, Barbie dream house type shit where, you know, they have a big beautiful fucking house with a white picket fence, and, you know, wifey's cooking breakfast or dinner or whatever. Husband comes home from work or going to work, you know, saying good morning honey, or hello honey, how are you doing, how's your day, kiss kiss, read the newspaper, and, you know, shit like that, on some white people type of shit. You know, the 1930s, the 40s, the 50s, all those old school marriage type shit. But not a lot of people can deal with that. You know, I mean, some people don't want that type of lifestyle, and some people can't even give that lifestyle. You know, it's a dream versus the reality of it. You know, the problem is with marriage is that the cons is that when you're married to somebody, sometimes people marry people that they don't even know. As in, you feel like you married a stranger, a complete stranger. You married your roommate. You married somebody that you know for a fact that you're not gonna click with, right? You know, and a lot of people dealt with that, you know? And sometimes it's also the case where people started to grow out and say, you know what, I'm not feeling this no more. Some people, it'd be shocking, some people will stop falling in love for some reason. I feel like it always happens when it comes to a woman or maybe a man. But there's always some side of the story that somebody's not, how can I say, they're not satisfied with the marriage. For instance, what if the wife or the husband cheat? That's a big dent of the relationship, and that person who's a home worker really fucked up the marriage. And, you know, things like that happen. I'm not saying that, you know, all marriages will be broken with infidelity or adultery occurs. Some people try to make it up and learn from their mistakes, and some people are not going to learn from their mistakes. You know, some people just rather hold on to this person because, you know, either they're still in love or they doing it for the kids. You know, and sometimes that's a bad thing to do. It's like, I can understand that you want their kids to have a mother and father around. I mean, a divorce, you can still have it that way too. You know, it really all depends if the dad, like I said, if the father wants to see their kids, and if he has custody, the same thing applies to the wife or the ex-wife or the woman, she can too. But the whole concept, what I'm trying to get to y'all, is that, you know, marriage is all about chemistry. It's all about putting up with people's shit. No matter if it's good or bad. That's why you say at the altar with the pastor talking about through sickness and health and all that other shit. This is asking you, it's completely asking you and telling you if whatever regards to what will happen to the marriage, would you forever be with this person? And most likely people say, yeah, I do. And the power vests in me, you know, I pronounce you man and wife. You can now kiss the bride, and dun 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 dun. And then divorce hits, it's like dun dun dun. Now let me get to that. In any other marriage that is falling apart, there's the killer. and it's called divorce. You know, and divorces would jeopardize a marriage. And not only just a marriage, but it could put a dent into a man's credit, as in his money, as in his home, everything that he owned, children, pets, materialistic items. That all varies, depends on what the man do in his relationship, or has to do after the relationship. You know, and most of the times it's really contradicting in a sense where a woman will be so, like I said, let me get to the prenup real quick. After you get married, or before you get married, you know, on this paper it says a prenup. And what a prenup will do is, if y'all ever get a divorce and shit happens, everything between the money, the house, the whatever, will remain within the possession of the husband or the ex-husband or the baby father. Not a lot of women will sign that prenup, because in some cases women like to take everything for granted. I mean, in a divorce, an alimony is like Christmas for women, or Hanukkah, or any other given day that a woman will receive a lot of shit. You know? And that's flushing down a lot of men's pockets with all that money that they have to give, and child support. And the reason why men don't want to be married, because they don't want to deal with that shit. Hell, I don't want to deal with this shit. Where, I mean, the worst to have is a gold digging wife. Use you and abuse you. Those are the worst women to have. And sometimes, yes, at times women don't have to pay alimony. But it's really rare that a woman do pay alimony. You get what I mean? But it's most likely designed for women. Everything that is designed for women is between child support, some type of counseling for women for domestic violence, alimony, you name it. I feel like the government designs these things for women, you know. And it doesn't matter if you're a cheater, you know, it doesn't matter if you're an abuser, you know, it doesn't matter if you was faithful or not. The point is, it's going to automatically be in the woman's side. Because a woman, when she get a divorce, they looking out for her well-being than the man's well-being. The man has to be stronger for this shit. But I feel like that's fucked up on that case of being married. You know? That like I said, you know, a man, when it comes to a divorce, a man will not win at all. It's really rare for a man to get a prenup or get alimony. So, you know, for gentlemen out there, y'all watching, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be married. It's a wonderful thing to be married to somebody who you truly love. But be aware and take your time. I mean, realistically, think about it before you make your first move on even marrying this woman in the first place. You know, if you're not married to the woman, then she don't get none of your shit. She can get the fuck out of your face and out of your life. And I'm not saying that you should never be married and never have a future with this woman, but just be with someone who you fit your criteria, fit your needs. You know, I mean, even with the criteria, it's like someone who understands you, someone who can help you, someone who can do things for you physically, financially, and spiritually, you know? And it's a lack of wives in America, a lack of husbands in America. Marriage is not coexisting anymore, where how grandma, grandpa, and great grandparents used to have it. You know, that old school love with the 1950s and all that fucking shit. All that shit went down the drain. You know, a woman doesn't have to do things much to please her man anymore in this day and age. And on top of that, like I said, the roles really switch, where the woman want to act like a man and the man acts like a woman, but a simp ass bitch ass nigga to be with a woman without no value. And you should never marry a woman who has no value. I mean, my thing is, beware of gold diggers, beware of hoes. Same thing applies to women. Step away from bitch ass niggas and step away from, you know, players and cheaters and liars and manipulators. That's how it is. Marriage is, to them, is a paycheck. Marriage is an idea, a fucking imagination to them. That they don't think of the consequences of staying committed with the opposite sex. You know, I really feel like, you know, in my standpoint, would I be married one day? I'm not sure. Would I like to be married? If the right woman comes into play, sure. But that's what's all it is. It's like, you got to be aware of your heart, your mind, your soul, and your finance. Because people will play you with all these things. Because deep down inside, that's all they care about. You know, nothing else. They look at marriages as a job. You know, the whole marriage certificate means like you got a contract. You know, that's how it is. Marriage is all about partnership, devotion, unconditional love, and understanding. I mean, yes, there's some other bullshit on the side where you do have to argue. You do get into some type of verbal fights. You do have your disagreements. And your people have to deal with, you know, their flaws. Nobody's not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. But there is such thing as a good marriage. If as long as you work things out and you're both happy to do the things that y'all do, and the chemistry and the compatibility is at its all-time high, then you got yourself a marriage. All I can say though, folks, is one of these days you gotta open your heart to somebody, or just close it to the wrong person. So anyways though, folks, I'm done here. Please leave a comment on the comment sections below. Like and subscribe. SBX, I'm out. Peace.